Well, there you go, the next stage of the bed cabinet build. Nice and sturdy. The color change was excellent. This new color that we've chosen is a perfect match for the vinyl that we've used to panel the sides. The yellow on the inside of the cabinets is going to make it really pop when you open the cupboard doors. There's been a little bit of a change of plan with this main cabinet fascia. I've had to cut out the one little support leg that I had that was going to separate the toilet door from the fridge. As it turns out, the fridge is a little bit wider than advertised, so I've had to trim that piece off there. So I'm going to fabricate some sort of slide for those two units over there. I was going to have two swing out cabin doors, but the problem is if there's a seat installed in the center of the van, we won't be able to open those doors, and the likelihood of there being a seat is quite high. So what I've done is I've gone for a tram-bore door, so I now need to cut that into one tall cabinet that will slide up or down, probably up, so we can get access whether or not there's a seat in place. So that's the plan. I'm just going to cut those out now that I've set it up on the jig, and then going to have to give this another coat of paint, I think, because it's chipped in a few places from moving it around. But anyway, it's coming in rather nicely. That is the front face of the cabinet that is going next to the bed over there. What I've done is I've marked out where I need to cut the holes. I'm going to try and cut these out mainly with the circular saw using a plunge cut, so that I can get as straight line as possible. That will be the cupboard next to the kitchen side, and that will be the cupboard above the bed. So I've left a gap here of about 15 centimeters. The mattress is about 10 plus a bit of bedding or whatever, so these will open up like that to get access into clothing. This is the back of the board, because when I cut I want the front face to be nice and crisp without any damage. So let's see if I can get a plunge cut to work in there. Figure out in the bedroom cabinet how and at what level, if at all, I want a shelf. Ideally, you'd like a shelf the whole way across like that. But what I'm wondering, because this is quite narrow because of the mattress, I'm just wondering what height and what depth shelf will actually work, because this is going to be quite difficult to get, you know, a jumper or a sweatshirt out of. A narrower shelf further back, obviously that access is much easier, how much use is a shelf that narrow? I'm almost inclined to forego a shelf in here to begin with. Make that storage bin as deep as possible, because you can pile clothes up here quite easily. I suppose I could get a net and hang a net from the top, and I can store socks and underwear and stuff in there. But I think I'm gonna leave the shelf out of here for now. So I made some great progress with the top cabinet. Now fitted a nice piece here between the two cupboards. This will be kitchen related. That one down the bottom also kitchen related, and the one above the bed space, you know, for clothing and that sort of thing. I want to put a small shelf in here because I think that height won't really be useful for much, and you'll land up with a lot of vertical space being wasted here. So I'm going to put in another little shelf, but of course I need to know what height that shelf is going to go to. I need to know what height to make that shelf, that second shelf. And I'm going to use a wine bottle test, because I need to be able to put bottles of wine in this cupboard potentially. So I need to see, that's got to be at least that sort of height. You know, it's got to be practical. I've made myself a little shelf here, busy gluing it together. And this will go inside the little pantry area. So once this is glued, I'll give it some screws, and then I'm going to cover this in some non-slip fabric, so it'll form a little bit of a shelf where you can put spices and things like that. I think I'm just going to fit the separator in. Pop that in there like that. The divider fits in perfectly over there. So now I can put the little shelf in there, in the pantry area. And there you have it. The left-hand side cabinet in the garage is now done. So I've got a nice little carpeted shelf down there. I managed to find just enough of a length of the same patterned vinyl left over to cover the face of the shelf over there. I've reused this fascia up here, so now I have quite a nice storage area for larger things. There's enough space here to put another little shelf in at the top if I want, because you can never have enough storage in a van, right? Once again, this has had to be that height so that it clears the trim on the rear light. But yeah, pretty happy with that. I was going to see if I could find some trim to go in there, but it almost looks like I don't need to. So this side has got two shelves. It's got the lower shelf over there and then the upper shelf over there, so I can store all sorts of stuff in there as well. This is long enough to store the folded chairs, the camping chairs, so that's pretty handy. Very happy with the way this turned out. I think the garage is coming along really nicely. This, I think, is the cleverest thing that I might have done in my camper van. I needed to come up with a way of having a very slimline drawer slide for two drawers. And while this might not be revolutionary, it certainly has made it possible for me to put the fridge on the one side and the toilet on the other without a substantial piece of wood between the two, like an 18mm piece of ply. This aluminium angle that I've used is 3.2, I think, millimeters thick, and what I've done, rather cleverly if I may say so myself, in order to get the draw slides to work and not foul, I've used some M5 T-slot nuts and some M5 Allen head screws to attach these two runners to that piece of angle, and now I have two draw slides on a very firm base that I can mount on the floor that doesn't take up a lot of room, and I'm pretty stoked with that. Go. And then that will be the draw. Look at that draw slide runner, nice and compact. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, stick around for the next video. Thanks for watching, happy days.